Great Nigerians and wonderful viewers, welcome to your darling station, The Living Television. Back again today on your favorite program, Issues of the Moment. In today's Issues of the Moment, we are looking at post-election issues. The election has come and gone, won and lost. What comes after it? That's exactly what we are looking at. These are the points we are going to look at today. Okezie Victor Bazo, PhD, the governor of Abia State, laments that beavers and internal sabotage robbed PDP of the Guba position in Abia State. PDP-led government in Abia has alleged that Alex Oti, the governor-elect, is behind the Abia State frozen accounts. Alex Oti denies having any hand in the said account. This and many more we'll be looking at today. And as usual, I have your wonderful analysts who are going to do justice, who are incidentally Abians and also who have lived in Abia, practices politics here in Abia State, and also one of them, a foremost legislator. Having said that, it's good you know those who will be talking with you today. From my far left, I have Honorable Tony Abanyem. Honorable Tony Abanyem was a one-time legislator when we were referring to politics or democracy as a nascent democracy. He was a legislator in Abia North. Honorable Tony, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Prof. Appreciate you for inviting me again. Thank you, viewers.
After him, I have Comrade Nnamdi Elekwachi. Comrade Nnamdi Elekwachi is a historian and also political affairs analyst. He's a man who is in tune with numbers and dates. Comrade, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me join you. Good day, viewers.
All right, today we know that the election has been won and lost, and all of us here are Abians. All of us voted here in Abia. Most of you also witnessed what happened during the election and also what is taking place even after the election. But the first and foremost I want us to look at is the comment credited to the governor of Abia State. It was in today's news as well, that beavers and internal sabotage robbed PDP of the Guba position in Abia State. I know, Honorable Tony, I know you are a core member of the PDP, if not one of the pioneer members, and also obedient at the same time. So, and you know what happens, the internal democracy, the internal politics in Abia State. So what would you say about this governor's comment?
Yes, actually, the governor may be right, or is right, because like you said, I'm an internal part of the party. I'm a jumbo stakeholder in PDP. Since 1999, to date, I've been at the, what they call leadership level of the party, what they call stakeholders here in Abia. I'm one of them. I think I know to an extent, to at least 40% of what went on in our party, where we got it wrong and all that. In the first place, what I told myself when the counting was going on, when the certain counting was going on, was that in life you don't get it all. You don't win all the time. Because the time you were winning, some other person was impaired. So if there is a turnaround and it's your turn today to lose, it's not a suicide, it's not a worst thing to happen to a man. So I prepared my mind earlier on, because before the election I saw a lot of mistakes. I saw a lot of what I can describe as double standard. I saw a lot of hiddenness on the side of those contesting elections. They were all full of themselves. They were concluding that they won the elections, not thinking about the dynamics of the unseen, which is the new thing that was introduced, the beavers. Some of them with the mentality, with the analog mentality of those days of writing results, even though we saw stuff like that now. during this one, where beavers were not used, but I know the election tribunal will decide, will determine all of that. Some of our contestants and some followers too, who we are singing some of the contestants, telling them that all was well, that they are going to win, it's going to be a landslide. There's no point worrying yourself, we've won your election, and some of them went to sleep. So when you bring critical things about the election, they'll dismiss you and tell you that it's not true that they're going to win. So a lot of them contributed to PDP losing the election. The beavers, good and fine, the governor said, but I know that it is more of sabotage. It's more of people that doesn't have prospects. A situation, political prospects. Those who doesn't know what it means to hold power. When monies are given to you for election conduct and say, what chairman, local government chairman, party, council chairman and all that, the money will be diverted into some other thing. A situation where, for the very first time, I was a ward collection agent in my ward in Abia. For the very first time since 1999, I went to the polling unit, my polling booth, without 1 naira to buy water for myself. You can imagine that. Yet, monies we are giving, to all the agents, if at my level of relevance in the party, of leadership in the party, I can be treated that way. Then, those that are the lower cadre can imagine what they suffered. So, internal sabotage, bringing neophytes, those who doesn't know what it means to hold power, those who will see money and who doesn't know that you have to, first of all, plant. You understand? Before you can start harvesting. Saw monies and pocketed the money, and people went to the field and were angry. You can imagine a situation where you get to the polling unit during the sorting and counting. Other parties will be having 25, 30, 15, 7, PDP, 0. So it means the agent there, probably he was not paid, he voted against the party.
That's it.
Or he absconded, he left the place, ran away. Because you can't stand under that sun between 8:30 in the morning till about 4 or 5 in the evening. If you were asked to go and do a missionary work, a voluntary work, earlier on you were told you are not going to pay. Or if you give him money, if you don't give him place, let it be a sacrifice. You prepare your mind from the house. But by the time you hear that monies have been given to somebody for your own mobilization, at least to have a little snacks and water and all that, and those monies we are not giving to you, and the person is somewhere cooling off, you will sabotage the system. That's where the whole problem started.
All right, you're right. Comrade, the governor also was very emphatic when he said that they had trusted the beavers and felt that was going to work. Just like we are sure, even in this station, I remember one of our discussants in those days, we talked about these beavers. We had to put an INEC man on air who told us that this is a game changer. It's not going to be business as usual. But it looks as if something else, something turned around, or rather the assurance turned around. It wasn't as promised, and that's exactly what the governor is talking about, coupled with internal sabotage.
Yes, I think the two things are to be found, but it depends on the amount we are even talking about. If you say the beavers was bypassed or compromised, then the question now becomes by whom? Because I'm aware that political parties, like I've said before here, during election or prior to election, you have coffee by 12 a.m., from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. I am aware that virtually all the political parties, you understand, they send their agents or their representatives to go to rack centers where INEC officials are you understand, are lodged. And a lot of things, shady things go on there. I don't want to begin to mention names. Many people, in fact, even those who are holding offices, they have this habit of moving with their convoy. And you cannot stop them. You understand? And they go to so I don't want to say this party did this or this party did that, but I would say virtually all the big political parties in that state. You understand? Everybody wanted to outwit or outflank or outmaneuver the other. You understand? But to be honest with you, I think I wouldn't say emphatically. You understand? Based on the evidence I have as a society person. You understand? The governor may have other reports, so he alone understood when he said that the beavers was actually bypassed. Then by whom? You understand? But the question we should also be asking is, this is a PDP state, so I wouldn't know if something goes wrong. You understand? It means even from the cadre, from the top cadre, the governor is the chief security officer of this state. He is expected to be having meetings with all the security agencies, their heads in the state. In as much as he may not be the one issuing command, but he has a way he interfaces with them. Even the so-called election, you understand? Everything starts at local government, and the chairman were changed. You understand? After the election and even before. That's it again. I think what I will support the governor in is internal. Yes, internal sabotage. The governor's campaign was actually divided. We saw a lot of the defections, even those who are celebrating today in Labour Party. Some of them came from PDP. You understand? Even those of them in YPP and the rest of them, some of them came from the PDP. In fact, we saw disaffection that the PDP house could not hold itself together. So a lot of people angrily left the PDP. They decamped to join other parties, and we are able to, you know this politics of a thing we call structure. They were able to now use the so-called structure to work against the PDP and undermine the chances of PDP winning the election. So to a great extent, internal contradiction, internal squabbles, internal crisis contributed to what played out and panned out. So if a party, like I say, walks to an election limping, you don't expect it to actually finish first. You understand? So there were problems, they never settled. Many people who came out, in fact, from the primaries, when we had the 3-man list, if you can remember, there were problems in the PDP. So people felt angry, people felt bitter, you understand? Including those who felt that they have wasted money, they have spent money, and there was no compensation, or they were not even properly guided as to whether to aspire to any position or not to aspire. So some of them left, and that to a great extent weakened the base and the popularity of the party.
All right, Honorable, every election is determined by the people who show up, and that is to say the number of persons that count. If you're actually talking about the beavers and so on, and some of you will agree with me that we experience, voter apathy during this period.
Yes.
And then talking about that, in Abia North and South alone, we had about 45,000. Humaya North was about 25,000.
27,000 or so.
On top of 27,000 or thereabout. And then I am not talking about the parties that won. I'm just talking about what the electoral, the returning officer rather, declared, and practically these persons were then seen at this polling unit.
Sorry, let me get you again.
I said in Omaya North, you had about 25,000 or 27,000. And then Abia North and Abia South, we had about 45,000, 22, 23 or thereabout. And then it is obvious that a lot of people did not come out during that time. Then this number of persons quoted as being practical there, how visible is it?
Yes, actually, there was apathy, but in some places people turned out.
Okay.
I came from a rural area of the town. And we have this impression before now, even in my party. Even the leaders of my party, when we were telling them that it's better they start thinking about what is to come. For the very first time since I started practical politics in 1991, I contested election in 1998-99. Even during the Abiola 1993 election, where everybody came out, nobody bothered about the Muslim thing. Nobody was really bothered about whether it's a Yoruba man or wherever. Voted for him on popularity.
Nigeria was very thick.
Yes, popularity and acceptability, because we felt that he has the capacity. People came in mass and voted for him. Abba never took out in that form. On the 25th of February, I saw what I've never seen before, election-wise. The only time I saw Abba come out in that manner was in 1983. As a little boy, I was living at Ososo Road, Leach. You know, it was like a mob action. Everybody came out and voted for Mbakwe for a reason. That Mbakwe did what they call in law, pro bono, for the Igbos who lost their property.
Yes, yes. Abandoned
and he came out and gave free legal services. And by the time he came out here to contest with Mwakamoko of MPN there, Abba swept them into the gutter. Then, when Abba comes out to vote, if Abba is supporting you, it's all over. You know, that was the time I saw that kind of crowd. So when we were telling our leaders here that for the very first time, churches, markets, and groups we are paying INEC. What they were paying for that machine to be released is 30,000 per day. Then other sorters, you know, sorting out, not inclusive. You pay for that machine 30,000 a day. Churches and markets took those equipment to their various shops and churches and paid for about 4 days and more. At a time, I was told, I saw in the social media when some Reverend Father were chasing away their members, if you don't have your PVC, no communion. We saw those things. Yeah. And you want to tell me like our leaders believed that Abana to vote. That was what they were telling us. So Abana to vote. Oh, leave the Abana doesn't vote. They wouldn't even come out. Oh, they'll be in their houses watching movie. Oh, the young people will be at the tea center enjoying themselves with noodles and custard. You know, much more younger ones will be on the street playing football. No, they won't vote. And on that day, Abba unleashed what I can call electoral mocking. They mocked PDP. They dealt with us. Actually, they came. Then they expected something to happen on the 25th of February, and at the end of the day, it couldn't happen. On 19th, actually, there was apathy. But they still came out.
On the 18th?
Yes, 18th. Yes, on the 18th.
18th of March.
They came out, even though there was a kind of, cold feet. But good number of people came out. Because if what they expected on the 25th happened, oh my goodness, it could have been. Do you know what happened in Ariana? If they see you as a PDP, you are noted as a PDP member, they will chase you out of the polling unit. After voting, they will allow you to vote. After voting, they will march you out and tell you to leave. It was that bad. The crowd swallowed. Nobody was proud again to say I'm of the PDP. What made them to allow me stay was that they know me as a media person, not just a PDP person. I told them I came there for media coverage. So actually, people came.
Okay. Okay, comrade.
Yes.
And then I am sure you voted.
I voted, I did. And I also observed.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's have your experience.
I think, to be honest with you, you see, immediately the result was announced. About went ecstatic. People went wild. People were seen in the road celebrating. I'm talking about hawkers. I'm talking about common people. Well, let me use the word common. I'm talking about common people like barrow pushers or truck pushers. You understand? Petty traders. They were all seen in the road. Everybody to be letting. I don't know what that translates into, because I wouldn't want to start going into all that. But then I think the PDP for 24 years in Abia State became too comfortable. It felt it had arrived, and that was why it was swept off power. You understand? It felt, and that was why the wave knocked it off. It felt it had arrived, and there was this self-assurance they possessed. That mean, they understand, seen in the carriage, even in the language of the campaign. I would even say congratulations to them on one thing, because you see, this is an election where the governorship aspirant died. Less than 2 months or so to election. And they were able still to mobilize, and they were still able to mobilize to the extent they even got the number of votes they did. But I want to say this, you see, if you say Abba, 25,000, Abba South, 25,000, do you know how many persons on INEC register for Abba South? That's about over 200,000 persons.
We are also considering.
You understand? Now I'm coming. You should have over 200,000 persons on this register, and then again have over 150,000 on a ballot. Do you know what that means? And then you are talking about 25,000 persons coming out to vote. It is still what it is, that there was apathy. You understand? But the thing we have is that we've not been able to scientifically proven some of these demographics. We've not been able to scientifically brought them under test to know their voting culture. And the beavers, if allowed to do it work independently, can help us all to know all about that. But I think why we saw this happen is that perhaps the people felt they were underserved or shortchanged politically, that they felt that yes, this election meant something like the revolution.
It's all right. All right. About 48 hours ago, the PDP-led government, in Abia State has alleged that Alex Oti is behind the Abia State frozen account. And then I'm coming to you, Honorable. And then, is it proper for any reason, if at all, it's true because it's alleged, is it proper for any person to have frozen the account of the state government where you have a serving government whose time has not expired?
Yes, that is the incoming governor, his supporters and his men. They are too much in a hurry. Even if he didn't send anybody, but his body language can mean that, his utterances can mean that. You saw what happened in Ogun in 1994. Ken Soroyo was not seeing those boys. But because he made a statement somewhere, and the boys went to the street and rampaged, and the rest is history. At the end of the day, we know where Ken Soroyo is today. So our own brother, Alex Chioma Oti, may not have sent anybody, may not have gone himself, but his body language may have led to that. What he has to do is to now go to court, because it is Abians that will be punished when those accounts are frozen. It means, okay, see, but he's still the governor till 29th of May 2023. So if you stop him from running the state, 29th of May is about 2 months from now, and stuff like that. So it means that the state will be standstill till then, till you take over. What it means is that salaries will not be paid. What it means is that his own entitlement, running costs, security vote, and all that.
Let's forget about the circumstances. Yes. Has any man done such right?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not talking about right. I'm talking about common sense now. You understand? But if it is, let's talk about legal procedure now.
Yeah.
He has no right to do that. He should wait until May 29th. If they are okay, they've been there for 8 years. So what he will say between now and the next 30 days, is he going to get Abia recovered if Abia is dead now? What you have to do is to wait. If there are things you want to probe, there are things you want to go into, investigations you want to carry out, you feel free, and it's your government. But I don't think that will serve us any good, because there are a lot of things to tackle in Abia. There are a lot of issues, to face head on. Other states have moved on. Today in Abia, we are still talking about potholes. We are still celebrating what do they call it, the street light in Abia. In other places, they are not talking about human capacity development. Human capital development. That's what they are talking. They're talking about in other states. Look at the federal government has now, a law has been passed about over states owing, putting up their own energy structures, the power supply and all that. These are things we have to start thinking about. All the debt, all the debris, all the waste we have in Aba. They say Aba is a double. So you are in the movie world. You saw what happened when Onyeko and Nkemo, featured in the film, one of the movies they call Conspiracy. Onyeko acted as a mad woman. And you know that mad people are kept, a bed of tin a day. They were looking for where to see heaps of refuse. And they brought the scene to Aba. Because Aba is seen as the dirtiest place in the country. So we can turn that unfortunate situation to wealth. Start thinking about that. Start putting up a blueprint. Start bringing experts, to prepare the ground for you. Not trying to, repeat what happened in Imo State, where this other man, Ihedioha, came and was pursuing Rochas from pillar to post. At the end of the day, he lost his seat. Alex Oti, good and fine, he's an egghead, he's a global citizen, we appreciate it so much. In 2015, I worked for him. The present governor, contested against him in 2015, and all that happened. We were all part of it. The late OC Prestige. I was part. In fact, I was the campaign media director of First Abia in Abia South. Abia First, sorry, the campaign platform. I was the media director. Good and fine. He has put up a good struggle, and at the end of the day, God gave it to him. He should not be in a hurry. Before, at the end of the day, he will shoot himself in the leg. What we need is, how do we tackle this whole menace in the civil service? How do we reduce the number of staff in Abia Poli? Those are the security point. 60 persons manning one gate. I don't know when Abia Poli has turned to Central Bank of Nigeria. Okay. And so many other things. Our roads, completed roads, a commercial road like Port Road should be looked into. Okay, they have done the drainage between here and the express. How do we get it, tidied up? And companies there will spring up and start.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you. And when you mentioned Abia Poli and reducing more, I'm not sure you are aware that about 500 workers, lecturers, academic staff have been laid off in that.
We need to lay off more. So what 40 persons, 40 men, what are they doing at one security post?
Then unless you're talking about the security, even as we speak now, the academic staff is short as we speak. But that is not the issue for now. Comrade, shortly before we go on break, we are still talking about the frozen account of Abia State government. When we have a sitting government, is it proper in any way?
Every citizen has a right to demand information. Under the Freedom of Information Act, you have the right to say, Abia State Ministry of Finance, give me the rundown, give me the breakdown analysis of expenditure of maybe first quarter.
By sealing the account?
Not by sealing, I'm coming. I'm coming to something.
Sealing the account means shutting down the system.
Yes, everybody has the right to say, let me know what you're spending on and how you're spending. I write to the planning office about a budget. I think I have the adjusted budget of 2018-2019 gazetted copies. You see, if a citizen, every citizen, you understand, has a right to say, I'm taking this state to court on this basis, you understand? But nothing must be done for political expedient or maybe to cripple an administration. That is where the challenge is now, you understand? And I feel, even if Governor-elect Alex Oti, you understand, has an maybe not even a hand, an agenda, you understand, of saying we are going to peruse the books, we are going to look into the books to see how funds were actually appropriated or misappropriated. It is fine. It is not wrong. But what I want is everything done must not be done to have a political undertone. This government is winding up. We've seen this government, we've lived under it for the past 8 years. And all these things did not happen then, and it is happening about now. You see, it is only in Nigeria that we run government without even telling. I was asking the question, if at all we are doing cashless policy, how is governance being run in Abuja? In America, there was shut down government. Everybody went to under Trump. There was shut down. Everybody went to the government said we cannot mobilize. But here, I don't even know how they break even. So the most important thing should be, who did this? What informed this? Is there any law? Is there any law, any known law, you understand, empowering a citizen to do this? And then to what extent did that law empower citizens to do all of that? I know we are all watchdogs, you understand? We are, even as press people, we mount pressure on government, whether state or federal or any level. But I should think that we shouldn't be so much curious when we've not even really arrived. All things being equal, I would expect that if this government comes on board, now, we're going to look into the great area of civil service, the great area of staff strength, the issue of either ghost workers or whatever, and to see who is who. Because he made his statement that said it's fine. He said he wouldn't understand why, and I'm talking about Otina, he said he wouldn't understand why there will be civil servants. Yet, issues like environment are even being contracted out. you begin to see people coming to, and then, because I have lived in places outside Nigeria. Yeah, these are functions of the local government. But yes, I have lived elsewhere where the system works. I've been to Ghana, Togo, and other places. You see that sometimes you even bring out your bean, your waste bag. You don't even know who carries it, and the person empties it. The person is paid to do that. In Niger State here, we have health workers. We also have environmental ministry. We also have a lot of them. Nothing happen. They don't do anything. And we also talk about the issue of contracting some of these things to private. I say this is fine. You should do it, but I do not know whether this done now actually aimed at undercutting OKZ's ability to finance or run government. Government is not run on credit, and I wouldn't know where this takes us to. But I hope whatever it is, it doesn't suffer Abians, because it is Abians that are working in State House. It is Abians that are working in ministries. It is Abians that are also, in fact, even to an extent, doing contract jobs.
All right, wonderful viewers, we are going to go on a very short break, and when we come back, issues of the moment will continue. We will also want to continue looking into this matter. Is it proper, whether the incoming government, or his lieutenant, whoever that is involved, is it proper for a government duly elected for their account, to be sealed for whatever reason? We are going to continue as soon as we come back on this short break. Don't go away, keep watching Living Television. Wonderful people, I'm glad you're still there watching your favorite station, the Living Television. We are still on it, issues of the moment, court cases and so on. That's what we're looking at. Right, away from that, we just discussed the frozen account of Abia state government and so on. But this morning, yesterday and this morning, Alex Chioma Oti, the governor-elect, denied openly that he has no hand in the frozen account. Then if Alex Oti has no hand in the frozen account, Honorable, who do we consider did that? Who do we think did it?
Well, that is what is taught in the toddler class. We are all adults here. Alex Oti is my very good senior friend. I worked with him in 2015. I know he has the capacity. He has been yearning to be the governor of Abia State. Eventually he has gotten it. Telling us he has not handled it is not true. We know he didn't go to court to file the case. But his voice, I said it earlier, his body language may have led to one of his boys, to do that. You understand? So what he should do to come out clean from this whole thing, let him go to court and challenge whoever that did that. And tell him, you don't cry more than a bereaved, my brother. I'm going to be the governor. I didn't send you. Please withdraw this matter. I will not start this too early to punish my people. You know, I'm a grassroots person. Abians came out and voted for me. In fact, I can say this one was given to me on the platter. I didn't even spend as much as I did in 2015. Nobody even expected him to get it. One thing led to the other. Probably God designed it, and finally it's there. You know, to also serve as a lesson to every other person who is earning to get something. If you are disappointed today, tomorrow may be your turn. A pastor in my church used to say, if you thank God for the prayers answered, also go for thanksgiving for the ones you didn't answer. Because that SUV Jeep you are looking for, 2022-23, if God had given it to you, you may end up crashing somewhere into one hill. And everyone around you who is still alive will say, oh, how they wish God didn't give you this car. So what we're trying to say is this: let there be peace. We need peace in Abia State. I came from Olo. In the last 1 year, my brother, I've not gone to my village because of crisis originated from this whole political, tussle and all that. So what we will advise, personally will advise my brother, my senior friend, the incoming governor to do is that we were brothers before we went into politics. You understand? And I'm not also saying that anybody who saw it in sand into, illegally taken over one government, either by money or property, should be allowed to go with it. No, but it should be done very quietly. Let there not be any hype.
Let there be due process.
Yes, due process. Let there not be any hype. Let our radio stations and TV stations not be awashed with the news of a panel of inquiries to recover this. And it can also quietly be done, and you face governance.
All right, comrade.
Yes.
Yeah, the Alex Otti denied having hand in the freezing of Abia accounts.
Yes, he said he has no hand in the frozen accounts, or the fact that Abia's account actually got what condition it is suffering from now. But one thing has to be established: Abia account and the Abia government is not about Okezie Ibazu or his PDP. It's not about the deputy governor. It's not about the speaker. It is about the people of Abia. And it's about the state itself. Government comes and goes, but the state is an eternal entity. Government is not eternal. You understand? Today, in fact, under this system, Okezie is now term limited. He can't even go beyond May 29. Nothing on earth will make him go beyond May 29. There is nothing.
Even if PDP
had won the election, it is not about him, and that's why I say government comes and goes. Government, there is what they call permanence. Government comes and goes, but the state is permanent. You understand? Now, this closure of account or this restriction, you understand? Maybe the account got posted to there is what they say, post no debit. You can't withdraw. You understand? But money could come in. They say post no debit. They can't post to that account. Okay. But it can be credited. The question becomes, why was this done? The person who do this, you understand? The person who did this, did the person actually come up with the reason to say the state government may have misappropriated funds or may have done this? This is the reason I have, you understand, taking this matter up to court and seeking an order restricting the government from dipping hands into a collective pocket otherwise to take care of business of governance, to take care of civil, to take care of affairs of government, you understand? And mind you that there may be some contracts going on that the governor may need to actually wind up. Yeah. And this thing is now crippled. What I wanted to hear is the legitimate reason so adduced for which these accounts, if at all you suspect and you are trying to establish, you understand, that monies have missed or have been diverted, fine. I enumerate the reasons, but we didn't just hear that. All we heard was that the account had been frozen, and the governor-elect is saying he has no hand in it. And it's not today. You see, I belong to civil society. We've been having issues with how is the budget going to behave, how is the budget going to be implemented, what are you investing or allocating to education sector? What numbers are you assigning to this other sector? It has never got to a point where I recall someone saying the account should be suspended the way it is now. But all this being equal, the question is, how long will this last? Will this account, will this ban, or will this status on the account be removed the moment OT is sworn in? Or will OT inherit government that has account issues and now begin to, how is he going to run? Because there must be handover notes he will receive. There must be briefs. There must be briefs.
All right.
The governor, I'm coming. The governor will give him briefs. Say, this is how much I spent on this ministry. This is how much I did this, I did that. All those things are going to be.
If the case continues beyond 29th,
yeah,
it means OT has no hand in it.
Yes. If it continues beyond the 29th,
yes. Withdrawn. There
may be grounds enough to
we'll walk away and get back to our house.
Well, I wonderful view from what analysts are saying. It's just like the proverbial tortoise that was thrown into the toilet for about 7 years, just about a day to its removal. Then he started shouting
that the place was smelly.
That the place is so smelly and so on. So whatever is happening, it's just about the corner. Whoever that is whose death is announced in
and funnily, I will tell you, see, I'm not here to hold forth for any government. I was going through the debt profile of states the last quarter of last year. I think Abia was owing about 102 billion or so. Lagos State owes about over 300 billion. University, I think, over 200 billion. You begin to see that. Anyway, let's continue anyway.
All right. Well, that's by the way. If the federal government is owing about
46 trillion naira now, it's going to 46 point something trillion naira now, and the debt has the capacity.
It's not over.
It has the capacity to grow up to 70 trillion naira from projections we are seeing.
All right. Before we call it today, Honorable. Now the election has come and gone, won and lost, and then it was on news 2 days ago, thereabout, that the PDP will be going on court. They will be going to the court to also, sort it out with the announcement of the governor-elect, Oti, and so on. And from what you said here, you watched this election. Do you think that, in as much as we are not trying to preempt the court, do you think they have any reason to do that? Remember also, shortly before now, immediately after the pronouncement of Alex Oti, the sitting governor also congratulated the governor-elect and also advised that nobody should go to court.
Yes, advice is optional. Yeah, to take it is optional.
Yes, to lead is optional.
Yes, okay, Zie Baz of the governor is not PDP. The outgoing governor, he gave his candid opinion. He just advised those who lost. But at the end of the day, I thought it would have been, if you wash my bag, I wash your own thing. Where the PDP started complaining that they wanted to adhere by the governor's advice. It's no longer a directive, advice. But the Labour Party didn't reciprocate that. Okay. Their candidates that lost also, went to court against PDP candidates that won. So what Oti, our incoming governor, should have done is also call people and say that it's very possible we are going to have a very peaceful government, because it's very possible the Okezie man must be a nice man, must be a Christian, for him to have forgiven all I did to him in 2015 and 2019. All of us were here and saw what happened. And how Abia money was thrown about, talking about, what the judiciary
for about 4 years.
So this man said, we're not going to drag this man into, because if monies are being spent, it is Abia money. If time is being wasted, it is Abia time. So Labour Party could have also appreciated and reciprocated that, but they couldn't do that. But I know that every man going to court by legal procedure and what law is all about, no case is not, every case is substantial. Our brother, Senator who used to be the Imo State governor, came distant fourth in 2019. and gathered some pieces of evidence and took it to court. And at the end of the day, our brother Ihedioha was busy pursuing Okorocha and thought the pieces of paper Hope took to court is a mere letter. And at the end of the day, the judges, they ruled. They were not there. Evidences before me. That's what they ruled. They decide the case. Their cases. So with the evidences they have, which our brother Ihedioha had none, and Hope brought some, they decided the matter with that, and today is the governor. So there is substance in every case. So what we have to do is to see how we can douse the tension.
So you're saying we've not seen the last of the election yet?
Yes. Yeah, because INEC, there was a lot of flaws, like in Abia, here in Abia Central. On the 15th of April, we're hearing about rerun of certain areas that elections were inconclusive and all that. And here in Abia Central, where a PDP candidate, Abraham Abba and others, Emperor Khan and all the rest of them were contestants, there at the collation center, the returning officer announced that because out of the 8 wards of the constituency, he had received only 5, that 3 is not yet with him. There was crisis in those areas that needs to be sorted out. That is not going to announce there was no clear winner. But Labour Party was winning. So when the rerun thing was scheduled, these guys started preparing the PDP, Abia, YPP. And as at this morning, we heard that INEC has issued a certificate of return to the Labour Party man. Is that not,
another sabotage?
Another sabotage. And also try to, the guy who gave the return certificate, what you want to back on him is, litigations. Because all of this, even though they may not win, but it is, a breach of their right.
Okay, comrade.
Yeah.
So do you think that the actions of the Labour Party is what led to Okezie's Ikpazo's statement this morning about the beavers and the internal sabotage? Because this is a man who had said, please sheathe your sword, there is no need, let us give peace a chance.
I do not think the action may have led or may have triggered that statement, because Okezie made the statement just a few hours after the announcement, at which point reports have not begun to trickle in. Reports from the PDP agents and the way they will begin to analyze, maybe in their own situation or their strong room, whatever name so called. They may begin now to analyze and say, these were areas where there were gaps. These were areas where there were shortfalls. I'm not sure he said that based on. He never said that based on facts. You understand? Now he may have facts to now begin to say, this is what I have. Don't also forget that Oti himself too may have facts to say this is also the reason why we are challenging the places we are challenging. But understand that these persons never went to the polls as political allies. They went to the polls as political adversaries. And mind you, this is an ongoing contest battle since 2015. Oti had been there, had been on the ballot 3 times. For the 3rd time now he won, you understand? Yes, the governor did well by congratulating him. But the governor is only the figurehead of the party. He does not embody the party entirely. Mm-hmm. The party still has structure, the caucus and then other things. In fact, they still have the state executive committee and other structures. So maybe they have decided from the fact they were able to get that they have a good case. You understand? To pursue at the courts. But all things being equal, I would say this, you see, it may not be right to say that Oti, what was witch hunting, all those periods. If PDP has any case today and they want to prove that they won this election, let them go to court. And they have begun. It is fine. The governor has
not witch hunting.
It is not. You see, he may feel that he actually won. You see, in his statement, I'm quoting him, like he said he won in 2015. He said he won in 2015, and that was the confusion that took him to court. I don't believe people saying the governor should have used the money for state to court. That would be trying to indict the governor, or unless you have a clear evidence that the governor used the money for state to go to court. When he was campaigning,
who are you addressing? Toddlers?
Did he take money from the state to campaign? His campaign fund came from somewhere. there are three sources to funding campaign. Political parties.
What is elected under a particular state?
It's not.
And
It's not.
what
It's
is
not
elected
his
as
duty.
warning.
It is not
It
his
becomes
duty.
in judge
The governor.
that
It
state.
is not his duty.
That's
You see, the governor has no right to dip his hands inside.
good and fine. Yeah.
To
In an
pursue a case.
organized system.
An organized system.
Good. Are we organized?
But we cannot establish that here.
Whether we organized or not.
That a governor can dip his hand, although it could be rumors. Understand?
It is not rumor. It's reality. My brother, it's reality. Because the governor, he's the chief accounting officer of the state.
Yes.
He can use the money to do what he wants to do. At the end of the day, you know, the courts are there. Take him to court, the FCC, let him he will tell you how he spends money.
And it's unfortunate what our courts do in the name of election. You see, some of the things we are even quoting cannot be used as precedent. It's quite unfortunate that some of these pronouncements, for example, the one between Awolowo and Shagari, it's not being used in a case law like Nigeria. In the case law system, you don't go to court to cite it. I'm not sure also this one of Ihedioha can be quoted in the court of law. Then why make such pronouncements?
Okay, before we go, Honorable, before we go finally for today, now the statement of His Excellency, the sitting governor of Abia State, Victor Ikpeazu, PhD, shows that he is in tune with the PDP that have decided to go to court. And then, before talking about this, do you think, as a jumbo stakeholder of the party, do you think he consulted both the flag bearer of the PDP, that is Chief Okeya Hiwe, and the party before that congratulatory message?
Okay, Ikpeazu didn't contest any governorship election.
Yeah.
You understand?
He did
Yes.
not.
He just gave a very sincere, patriotic advice as an Abia. You understand? And it is optional for the man who was advised either to take it or drop it.
Yes.
You understand? And they cannot compare PDP. He's not, Okezie is not PDP. You understand? So, I can't say that his body language or the last statement he made is in consonance. He's also in agreement, shows he's in agreement with PDP going to court. The party can resolve and say, oh, probably they can say after this man is going, why should he? PDP will come to stay and he's leaving office. So it's better we do our thing. So PDP is doing their thing. I don't think Okezie may have decided for them. Okeya Hiwe, the governorship candidate, is also a man. You understand? Who has the right, who is mature enough to take his decision, either to accept what Okezie said, advised or not.
All right, before we go, Comrade Nnamdi, let's have your final take on our topics today before we wind up.
Okay, thank you. It is not wrong to challenge the outcome of election. You understand? In a court of law, the Labour Party and the PDP are challenging today the presidential election that produced Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC. They are all challenging that at the court. Even those who have not so challenged have come out to say the election was not acceptable. Kwankwaso has said that. Omoyele Sowore has said that. Many of them have come out to say we don't believe that this process was credible. And to that extent, they have rights. You understand? They have rights to do what? To seek legal redress. I do not think it is just because of the system we have where no person is. We only have good winners and we don't have good losers. So every loser will say, I won, therefore I must go to court. So if the PDP is a political party, mind you, that has agents everywhere in the state, that has more coverage than any other political party, mind you. So if the facts available to them are that incriminating, that's indicting, that's strong, that's substantial, that's valid, let them go to court. It is their right, you understand? And the facilities, including right to inspect all the election materials, beavers and everything. Not like what we saw in River State. In River State, where people were stopped from inspecting those things. Then, if the Labour Party also has a case,
I think the Tribunal Court has even granted them that.
Let them continue too. I mean, both parties have right to say we are seeking legal redress.
All right, Honorable, your parting word for today's program.
Yes, the whole problem started from INEC because I think that was why the boys in Bruno coined that controversial acronym, Boko Haram. Western education is evil. Book is education. Haram is evil. going to school is evil. I don't know who is our problem in this country, the uneducated or the professors or PhD holders, you and me, I don't know. Because I don't see how an undergrad professor, so to speak, like Yakubu, the INEC chairman, will tell us that, oh, the days of electoral excitement is here. Your votes will count. The system we have now is perfect. My son, who is a virgin voter, was almost crying in the house that virtually all the people he voted for, particularly PDP, lost. And the impression they were given in school was that, oh, votes will be counted. So at the end of the day, you can see.
Honorable Tony Abanyim, thank you for being part of today's program.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me here today.
And Comrade Nnamdi Elekwachi, we're very grateful having you.
I'm grateful to be here too. Thank you so much. Goodbye, viewers.
Now, wonderful viewers, keep watching Living Television. Remember, our program comes up tomorrow again, and that will be Nigeria Today. And I'm sure you will enjoy it. Please, some of our programs will still come your way even after now. Keep watching Living TV. I'm your anchorman, Chinedum Adiele.
Allow me to enjoy myself. I love you. Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that Living Television, the latest satellite station on SatView channel, is received all over Nigeria and Africa? You can watch Living Television on every free-to-air HD decoder, including Strong HD and CSAT HD. Why keep paying for monthly subscriptions when you can have fun for free? With Living Television, you can watch lots of wrestling, football, documentaries, and Nigerian films, including discussions and debates on current Nigeria issues. Watch free live matches on La Liga Spain cum Serie A, Italy cum Bundesliga, German League 1, and French matches on over 80 premium channels. Wow! You can also sponsor your programs such as live church services and crusades, political rallies, burial and wedding ceremonies, promotional interviews, announcements, advertisements, documentaries, and commercials. We are situated at number 1 Jeji Street off Ikorekmane Road, Abia State. For further enquiries, call 080